Hi everyone, welcome back to Vicky's Life Diaries. Today is Valentine's Day, so I'm getting ready to go on a Valentine's Day date, but while I do that, I figured that I would tell you guys the truth about dating at university, because it's not something that's actually been spoken about a lot. So yeah, let's get on with it. I know I'm on the floor, I have my skincare, makeup and mirror here, so let's get ready. I know it's weird to talk about dating at university while I'm literally going on a Valentine's Day dinner date with my boyfriend, but I feel like university and just dating in university is an experience that is just not talked about enough, so let's get into it. I'm using these toner pads from CosRX not only because they're really thin, but because they help calm my irritation down a lot and they sit on my face really nicely. I feel like the first thing I need to say is that dating in general is already pretty difficult, especially in an age of technology, but dating at university is a completely different thing. Like, dating in general is pretty shit, but at university, it can either be really, really, really good or really shit, and there is no in between. I feel like the reason for that is that when you get to university, there are so many different people that you meet, and there's so many different types of people that you meet because university itself is a really diverse place. You go from a class of about 30 people into a lecture hall of 150, and that's just the class. That's not to mention the university itself. And all of these people are so different. They have their own stories, they have their own backgrounds, they like different things. And because there's such a wide range of people, it makes dating at university both really, really easy and also really, really hard. I'm currently using the Innisfree Jeju Orchid Lotion. I know it's a body lotion, I don't want to hear it. It's worked wonders for the irritation under my eyes, so shush. I feel like the funny thing is that all of the new people, or just people in general when you get to university, like, everyone's really different, but they all fit into at least one of three categories. At least this is what I've noticed. You have the society guys who are all about joining societies and clubs, and they will probably end up being president or treasurer or secretary of a club, and while it looks amazing on the CV, they go to every single social night, they basically help the club run. They're your society guys. Then you've got the club/pub rats who probably have an STD or 5, but who's counting? They're out every single night without fail, getting sloshed, having the best night of their lives. And in general are just giant red flags. I feel like clubs are more for year 1, maybe year 2, but by year 3 they transition into pub rats. But in general, they are just giant red flags. Then there's the academic nerds who, as the name suggests, solely focus on academics. The thing is, obviously these aren't like set categories, but I feel like a lot of people typically fall into one of the 3 categories and then branch out to the others as they develop through uni, because uni is about like developing and finding yourself and studying and all of that, but usually people will fall into at least one of the categories, if not all 3 at some point. I'm putting my hair up to do my makeup just because it keeps getting in my way. I feel like because there's a lot of different types of people at university, when it comes to dating, people often don't know like who they want to date or what type of person they want to be with, and that makes it really difficult. Hooking up is usually just one night, but when it comes to dating, because there are so many people and because a lot of people don't know what they want when they start dating, it becomes a lot more difficult. When I started to date and put myself out there, I made a lot of fucking mistakes, which is kind of why I'm making this video, so you don't have to go through all of the shit I went through. Yes, dating is a learning experience, but some experiences are just better avoided. When it comes to bad experiences, in my opinion, bad experiences have always started with bad people. And so when I was properly looking to date, I made a list of people that I would never date. And in general, this list applies to both dating and to people you should not get with. Don't get with the club rats, it's not worth the pain, quite frankly. Don't get with friends of friends. This one I find really important simply because it gets messy really quickly, friendships fall out, and I know people who have dropped out because their friend group has magically vanished. I don't know why you would want to do that, but you know, I'm not going to judge. Do not get with people in your course, especially if you are doing a STEM subject. Sure, the study dates are going to be adorable, whatever, but at the end of the day, the competition is not going to be as cute. I'm an English literature student, so the competition really isn't that fierce. I read. But if you're in a STEM subject where the competition is a lot higher and the stakes are a lot higher, maybe don't date someone from your course. And most importantly, do not, and I mean do not, get with your flatmate. It doesn't end well. I don't know anyone for who it has ended well. And it just becomes really awkward after, so just don't do it. I feel like it's almost comical that I have to speak about situationships, but the thing with uni is that because dating in university is so much more different than dating when you're in school, dating at work, that situationships are bound to happen. And situationships are just so common. The way I like to see them is that they're as much a learning experience for you as they are the other person. And even though they suck ass, just kind of treat them as a learning experience and treat them as a way of having fun. Explore them as a way of finding out what you would like in a relationship. Situationships are typically when neither person wants a relationship. So honestly, use it as a learning experience. But the thing with situationships in university is that they can get complicated really easily. So the way I like to do this is I always think that there are two things to remember. Do not get in a situationship with your flatmate. Again, I spoke about getting with your flatmate like 2 minutes ago. Just don't do it. It is not worth the pain. It is not worth the struggle. It's not worth the awkwardness at the end. It really isn't worth it. If you ignore my advice from earlier about not getting with your flatmate, that's fine. Just don't get into a situationship with them, because I guarantee you it will just not end out well. The second thing, if you are in a situationship with someone, don't move in with them. And the reason I say this is because I had a friend in second year who moved in with their first year situationship, and things went really well at the start until they didn't. And things got awkward and things got really heated, but they were both part of the friend group, and honestly, it just never works out in your favor, so don't do it. Situationships can be used as a learning experience. I think just the best rule of thumb is just don't live with them, because when it inevitably crashes and burns, it's going to be a lot more difficult if you have already moved in with them. I feel like situationships are bad in general, but I feel like they're more of a second year issue than a first year issue, because the thing with first year is that there is such a prominent hookup culture that basically everyone's getting with everyone, and that's not a bad thing. That being said, it does lead on very nicely to my next point, which is that if you think you have something, get it fucking tested. I don't care if it's a pregnancy test, I don't care if it's an STD test. Get tested. And the reason I say this is because a lot of the times, especially in first year, people don't know that they have something, or they do know and they willingly spread it because they're evil. But honestly, if you think you have something, it is not worth the hassle and the stress and the tears and the pain. Get tested. If you think you have something, please get tested. I know too many people that have had STDs in this damn university. I feel like if I'm talking about dating at university, it's almost mandatory to talk about dating apps, especially while at university, simply because they're literally everywhere. I don't know a single person that has downloaded Hinge only to delete it and then re-download it again. And I genuinely mean that. The thing with dating apps and uni is that 80% of the time, it's used for just hooking up, which is completely fine. The other 20% is used for dating, except the 20% is broken into 15% and 5%. The 15% is usually a coffee or lunch date with a hookup at the end of it. It might lead to a situationship, it might not. The other 5% leads to a thriving relationship. And dating apps in general are just kind of shit, but more or less, say that 80% is used for simply hookups, and then the other 20% is kind of used for a relationship, but not really. I feel like dating apps are just bad no matter what year of uni you're in, but I think that due to the hookup culture, dating apps are literally just used to get a shag if you can't get someone in the club. In second year, it's more about having a fling or a situationship. And then in third year, maybe a relationship, but in third year everyone's too busy with their dissertation and trying to actually make up for all of the work that they didn't do previously. So yeah, no one really cares in third year. Honestly, I think it's just because everyone is on these dating apps is exactly what makes it so difficult to find a person to date on these dating apps. When people are on these dating apps, it makes it really difficult to know exactly what the other person wants unless they explicitly say it. I know Hinge has a feature that lets people say what type of relationship they want, but people are liars. Trust me on that one. I feel like getting into the dating scene is difficult enough. Like, the dating scene at uni is absolutely atrocious. At least it has been in my experience. But I think what makes it worse is that when you're in an actual relationship, it becomes a lot harder, which doesn't make it any better. Because the thing about dating at uni is that no matter if you both go to the same university, you will inevitably end up doing long distance. Unless you both come from the same town or city and then go to the same university, which is really unlikely, you will most likely end up doing long distance. For me, I found my relationship when I was back in London, and now my boyfriend still lives in London while I'm all the way across the other side of the country. And it's because university is so diverse that it's really unlikely that if you get a partner, you both come from the same place. And it's not just about long distance, it's also about travel costs. Going to see my boyfriend costs me like £70. That's a fucking scam. Yes, long distance is doable, but there are two main things to consider. Travel is obviously the first one. Just the cost of a train is really expensive. And on top of that, it's just the isolation of being long distance. And I do think that FaceTime is starting to hate me a little bit. If you don't want a long distance relationship, then my honest advice is that a situationship would be easier. Honestly, it's just about making it work. And the thing about long distance relationships is that you need to remember that there are two people in that relationship. The same applies to a situationship, the same applies to anything, especially when dating at university. But I feel like situationships are more of a learning curve for yourself. In an actual relationship, you do need to consider the other person a lot more. And while dating at uni is a really amazing chance for you to find out what you like, what you don't like, how you function in a relationship, when you actually get to dating someone in university, you do need to remember that there are two of you. You need to remember that there's another person on the end of that phone. You need to remember that you're working together. And it's really key that you don't forget that, because I think a lot of people do forget that. So this is the final makeup look for my Valentine's Day date. I know it's really weird that I'm talking about dating at university while I'm literally getting ready to go on a Valentine's Day date with my boyfriend, but these things do need to be said. And the reason I wanted to make this video was simply because I was talking with my friend recently, and she was complaining about her dating life at university, and she turned to me and went, "You almost never complain about your boyfriend. How did you find someone like that?" And the only thing I could think of to reply was that I just know what I want in a man. And that really is just my final point. If you're going to date at uni, the dating scene is hell. But there are good people out there. And in order to find these good people that will be the right fit for you, you need to know what you want in a partner. If you go in completely blind and fall for the first guy that gives you a modicum of attention, it will not end well. Just know what you want in a relationship. Do you want someone who knows how to cook? Do you want someone who's always attentive? Do you want someone who's really ambitious? And the thing is, you don't even need to paint this grand idea of a man. You just need to know what you like and what you dislike. And then you can create the list from there. For me personally, I like really nerdy and smart men, which is exactly what my boyfriend is. This is the final outfit. I am wearing tights because it is really, really cold outside. But yeah, I wanted to make this video because there are a lot of unspoken rules when it comes to dating at university. And this just is the truth about dating at university. When I first came to university, I didn't know any of this. And so for me, because there were a lot of unspoken rules and so many people had different experiences, I messed up a lot. The thing is, everyone's going to tell you not to get with your flatmate because everyone already knows that rule. But no one else is going to tell you that dating apps are quite literally hell on earth, that situationships are everywhere, that you shouldn't get with friends of friends because despite being the grown age of 18, 19, 20, however old you are, drama is still drama, and drama actually gets worse as you get older. So it's definitely one of those things where I felt like I had to make a video about it because of these unspoken rules. And I know I've been really pessimistic, but at the end of the day, your dating experience is what you make out of it. And for me, even though I had a lot of really bad experiences, I also have a really loving boyfriend now. So, you know, those experiences just don't matter anymore. That being said, this is the outfit. My makeup is all done. And I'm now gonna head off to dinner because my boyfriend's coming back from work. So we're gonna go and get K barbecue, and happy Valentine's Day. Bye.